Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast, a platform where we spotlight the vibrancy and diversity of small businesses, the unsung heroes of our economy. This is your host SK. Small businesses not only weave the fabric of our local markets but also embody the dreams and aspirations of individual entrepreneurs. In each episode, we celebrate the journey, uncovering the stories of innovation, resilience, and community impact. Today's discussion promises insightful perspectives on immigration's role in economic growth, the experiences of newcomers in Canada, and the unique challenges and triumphs of starting a business in a new land. We are thrilled to welcome Akshat Soni, the co-founder and CEO of CanPR Technologies Inc., a trailblazer in technology-enabled immigration services. Akshat, a seasoned entrepreneur with a rich history of founding technology companies, has an impressive track record of building and scaling successful ventures. His latest venture, CanPR, is a testament to his commitment to easing the immigration journey for newcomers to Canada. Akshat brings a personal and professional perspective to the challenges and opportunities in the immigration sector. Let's dive in and learn from Akshat's experiences and insights. Good afternoon, Akshat, and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me here.
It's a great pleasure to host you today. It's wonderful to, share your journey and insights into how immigration shaped the landscape of Canadian entrepreneurship. The interplay between immigration and Canada's economic vitality is unmistakable, with immigrants playing a transformative role in fostering growth and innovation. It's very, very important for economic growth. Like, before we explore the economic facets, Akshat, I'm curious about your personal journey.
Of course.
What inspired you to venture into the realm of technology-enabled immigration services, and how has your experience as an immigrant influenced CanPR mission?
Of course. Yeah, I think first part of your question, I've been an entrepreneur for the last 12 years. My motivation behind it was my dad is an accountant himself. He had a small business. When I was younger, I used to do accounting entries. That's where my motivation came in to start my own business. My first business was in e-commerce. So building websites for companies 12 years ago.
That's great. 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a while now, but
Yeah.
that was my first kind of taste of entrepreneurship.
And you got the motivation from your father, right? Like when he was running the small business,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. So it was more so, getting into in the environment, actually helping him out when I was younger as well, and getting into that kind of rhythm. Right after that, built that business out, then got into the rideshare carpooling space. So I went to school at Laurier University. So in Waterloo, built our first ride sharing platform for long distance carpooling. So essentially we made a MVP, which was essentially a Facebook rideshare group. We had over 100,000 members there. So
Wow, 100,000 members.
Exactly. So it was a great product fit. And that's where we started building our technology. So really building the niche for students when they want to travel long distance to visit friends or family. And then it grew into B2B, where we actually built platforms for companies, and we actually expanded into the US as well. We had a chance to pitch on Dragon's Den. So that was a great opportunity for the company to grow.
Which year was that?
This was 2017, 2018 year
Okay.
is when we actually pitched on Dragon's Den. And then we got acquired by a public company. So worked as an exec there for a little bit as well to gain that public market experience. Did some projects here and there. And then, started CanPR, I would say a couple of years ago. And, second part of your question, I think the motivation comes from seeing what solutions are out there for newcomers or people that want to come into the country. And I saw a lot of the, pieces broken. Like, we came 15 years ago when I was very young at that moment, but the solutions then versus now are still the same, right? There's no streamlining of the process pre-immigration. There's no support post-landing. So that's where the motivation came for CanPR.
Yeah, that's great. Whenever I sit with the entrepreneurs, I love hearing stories and sharing a story with you, with our audience. Now, Akshat, what advice would you offer to other immigrants looking to start their business in Canada?
Of course, look, it's a hard journey, but one thing I know about immigrants, they're very hardworking people. So it's about doing it for the right reasons, finding a network, finding a community where they can understand what it takes in order to start a business. And that's where, again, CanPR can also help them. We have actually interest-based communities within the platform. So people that have aspirations to start their small business or their startups, they can be part of those communities to understand the ins and outs, because it's a new country, it's a new system to structure.
It's very important to understand like in and outs before starting or venturing into any enterprise, right?
Exactly. And of course, going back to it, doing it for the right reasons, understanding why you're doing something. For me, all the companies or startups I've worked on, it came from a problem that I had myself, or, people around me had it, and understanding how to build from that into a product and into a business.
Thank you for sharing those insights. After hearing Akshat's inspiring journey and the passion behind CanPR's mission, I want to take a moment to speak directly to all of you listening. Each of us has a story, a journey that has brought us to where we are today. Akshat's story is a powerful reminder of how personal experiences can fuel innovation and drive positive change in our communities. Think about your own journey. What experiences have shaped your path, and how you can leverage them to make a difference in your own community or industry. Now, reflecting on your extensive experience, Akshat, what are the key contributions of immigration to Canadian, Canada's economic prosperity?
So I think I'll talk about it from a macro scale first. When you look at baby boomers, so folks that are going to be over the age of 65 in the next 6 years or so, you have over 5 million people.
Right.
Essentially, you have over 5 million people retiring from, their jobs, meaning that you need immigration.
And it's alarming, right? It's alarming. Like when I was reading this news, like when we were doing some research for our own article, like I was surprised.
Exactly. So that's where immigration comes in, making sure we're getting the right individuals, making sure we're giving the support to these people when they come into the country, and making sure there's a platform that can align all these things together. And again, that's the main purpose of us building CanPR, is to make sure that we see the future and making sure this is the platform and technology to improve that. One of the stats I was, surprised listening to, for in construction especially, you have 7 people retiring and 1 new person coming in. And that's where immigration comes in. I think I'm a big supporter of immigration, of course, doing a tech immigration startup, but I do believe doing it the right way, right? You don't want to have individuals here, they don't have the support, or they don't have the right knowledge or education background to get certain jobs. So it's making sure that people are educated even before they come into the country, so that, they can kind of make sure their life is settled here.
So that they won't face any kind of struggles, and they know in and outs before making any decision. And I just want to elaborate more on this one, in this context that what we have discussed, like how does CanPR align its services specifically to support this economic narrative, right, and aiming to make a tangible impact?
Of course. So I'll start with the pre-immigration process. So we've streamlined a lot of the technology and the processing so that people can understand there's so many immigration pathways you can come into the country with. So we want to make sure that everything is personalized for an individual. So what we do is we understand your profile, and through technology, we can give you certain, ways you can come into the country, and then all the paperwork can be done through our platform itself. Now we work with multiple consultants and agents. We act as a marketplace so that we can provide the right service for you as an end customer and for your family. Now, when a person's coming into the country, they need post-landing support. So we have partnerships with industry leaders as of right now. So for telecom, for healthcare, for, finding a house, we want to make sure that people can come to our platform and find the services right away. Because one of the things, when you think about it from a newcomer's perspective, there's 3 major decisions a person makes in their life. One is, where they live. Second is who they marry. Third is where they work.
And these are very important, right?
Of course. And we take care of that number one thing. So we want to make sure that we're catering the right solution for the individual itself.
Right. Akshat, when it comes to businesses, what specific services you provide to businesses on immigration side?
Of course. So as we discussed early in this interview, there's a lot of job openings in specific industries. And just to, dive deeper, for example, in construction, nursing, security business, farming. There's a lot of industries that require immigrants per se. So what we are doing, we have a tool called Smart CV within the CanPR platform. What it does, it gets resumes from individuals, does the background check, and we connect, employers with these people. So essentially like a LinkedIn, but niched out to newcomers and prospective newcomers. And we let the employers connect with these people. And once someone, is interested from the employer perspective, we also take care of the, post landing experience and also the immigration paperwork the individual needs. So really creating an all-in-one solution for the employers to find the right people, because we know from the employer side, it's super difficult to even find a local person the right way. And it's another story when you think about
it's a very big challenge,
international.
like as an entrepreneur and founder of this enterprise, like it's very, very difficult task. You have to spend a lot of time,
Of
then
course.
it's a difficult task, as you said. Yeah. Yeah, Akshat, thanks for sharing these insights. Like your insights and examples on immigration's economic significance shed light on the pivotal role newcomers play in our nation's prosperity. After delving into the critical role of immigration in Canada's economy with Akshat, I would like to take a moment to connect with you, our listeners. The insights we have just explored highlight how deeply immigration is woven into the fabric of our communities and businesses. I encourage you to consider the diversity and the strength that immigrants contribute to our ambitious landscape. Reflect on how this mosaic of cultures and perspectives enriches not only our economy, but also the vibrancy of our society. Now, let's discuss on the employer expectations from new Canadians. Like employers are central to the successful integration of new Canadians into the workforce, setting the stage for mutual growth and understanding. From your perspective, Akshat, what should employers anticipate when welcoming the new Canadians into their teams, and how can they smooth this transition?
Of course. So when I'm talking from the immigration perspective, employer per se, when you think about a normal person coming in on a work permit, they come on a closed work permit. What I mean by that is a person has to work for 2 to 3 years on a closed work permit for that specific employer. So one
Who has issued
advantage,
the work permit to them, right?
exactly, who sponsored the
Yeah.
person into the
Yeah.
country. So one of the major benefits to that is there's less turnover on that, exact point. But one of the things that employers need to also look out for is, cultural training, making sure people are also assimilating to the culture, but also providing them the post landing services. And that's again, going back to what CanPR does for the employers, is making sure they're doing the business that they're capable of doing, and us taking care of any support that the newcomer needs, even after they get a job.
Right. Can you elaborate on CanPR's role in bridging any existing gaps between employers and their Canadian employees?
Of course. So when you think about a lot of employers here, looking for even people locally or even internationally, as you asked, one of the major things that CanPR is doing is providing training. So providing the soft skill training and the cultural training that an individual needs in order to get assimilated into a work environment. When I talk about international students, going into what we do, we have over 1.5 million international students here in Canada right now. And a lot of them have certain skills, but they don't have the certain soft skills or cultural skills because, they're coming from, multiple countries and they've been here maybe for 2, 3, or 4 years. So really bridging that gap on the soft skill side is really important. And that's where our CanPR and Smart CV platform really comes in, because then employers can get a person who's ready to, work in that specific environment.
Right. And as you said about the smart CV, can you share how can our listeners or business owners who want to get connected and want to learn more about CanPR, what's the best way to reach you out?
Of course. So people can download our app any moment. They can go on our website as well. So once you download our app, you can, sign up to Smart CV right through our CanPR platform itself. If you're looking for a job, you can do that right through the Smart CV platform. If you're looking for any immigration needs, you can use the CanPR platform itself.
Thanks for sharing this information with your audience. Akshat, your guidance offers a roadmap for employers to nurture a supportive and inclusive work environment for new Canadians. Having discussed the critical role employers play in welcoming new Canadians into the workforce, I want to pause and connect with you. Think about the diversity in your own workplace or community and the richness it adds. How can we, as individuals and businesses, foster a more inclusive environment that celebrates and leverages this diversity. Now, let's discuss about the newcomer experience in
course.
Canada. Like, grasping the newcomer experience is essential to appreciate the blend of challenges and opportunities that Canada presents to its new residents. Akshat, could you share some common experiences that newcomers encounter upon their arrival and as they settle into Canadian life?
Of course. I mean, I'm an immigrant myself, so our family felt the same challenges 15 years ago. But one of the major things newcomers face is, they have a lot of family back home. They get to go out with them every weekend, every week. They're surrounded by their extended family. So once they move here, they don't get that social connection. And that's one of the major things that, we noticed when we were looking at some major pain points on the newcomer experience. There's no communities for them to go to so that they can feel like, they have a support system here. And that's a major, one of the major challenges we've seen. And again, connecting it back to our business, we have a community feature as well within CanPR where people with specific interest and specific, communities they're coming from can get connected together. So the goal for us is to make sure when an individual is moving there is making sure that, of course, they're taken care of on the post-landing side with all the services they need in order to start their journey. But one of the major things is the social aspect so that people feel like they're right at home.
Right. And CanPR is providing services to all the countries or just some specific countries?
So our app is available to everyone, but our offices right now are in India, Dubai, Pakistan.
Okay.
We're expanding into the South American market and the Eastern European market as well in the next few quarters. But the goal for us right now is to make sure that, we have 1 million downloads, 1 million installs right now.
Right. 1 million downloads. That's
yes,
a good number, right?
No, of course. And, that's a testament on our whole team and understanding the user fit and creating a user-centric product. But the goal for us is to make sure that we're working on user feedback and expanding slowly and making sure we're not missing anything in between.
Akshat, your personal insights and CanPR's initiatives paint a hopeful picture for newcomers. I believe, as you already said, you have around 1 million downloads. So a lot of people, they have a trust on your services and on your brand. And it promises a more navigable path to settling in Canada. Looking to the future, like social impactful businesses like CanPR are poised to make a profound difference in both the marketplace and the broader community. Looking ahead, Akshat, what are your aspirations for CanPR and how do you envision continuing your support for immigrants in Canada?
Yeah, look, we're all in one service for newcomers, one of a kind as well. And our goal is one of the exciting things that we have, I can maybe share here, is we've signed a letter of intent to go public sometime this year. So it's very exciting for our company to, fulfill the vision of
That's an
helping
exciting news.
newcomers. Of course. So that's,
congratulations and best of luck for that. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's one of our major aspirations is, getting listed, but also using that platform to help more people.
That's great. Are there any forthcoming initiatives at CanPR that you are particularly excited about and would like to share with our audience?
Of course. So we are launching a lot of newcomer hangouts in Toronto, in Edmonton as well. So we're really excited to launch those in-person events as well. Of course, we're a technology company, so most of everything is done through our platform itself. But we do think that in-person social connection is really important.
Right.
So that's one of the major initiatives we're working on to create those events. Since, as we spoke about, we have 1 million downloads. So we have a very good audience that we can now start bringing them together in person as well so that they can start building those communities and relationships.
Right. So when are you planning to launch this? And also, as you said, Toronto, and what was the other
Edmonton.
Edmonton.
So those are our first two spots.
So you are going to start from this and you want to move further to it.
Exactly, right? The major hubs where newcomers are moving to. Goal is for us is, since our offices right now in Canada are in these two major hubs, so goal is to start there. Once we start building that, we'll be going into other major cities as well.
Okay. So it was great to know the initiatives that you and your team is working on CanPR. As we conclude, Akshat, could you share or offer a piece of advice for those involved in shaping policies, communities, and individual actions to ensure the immigrant population is fully supported and engaged?
Yeah, I think it's about working with private companies, and of course, CanPR being one of them. I think my one piece of advice would be, talking to companies like CanPR so that we can shape policies by understanding, because we do work with a lot of individuals and we can give the right advice so that they can get that on a macro scale and then shape policies, because then they'll be truly user centric rather than, them making something in terms of their belief. It would be better if it comes from private companies that are in this industry and space.
Right. Thanks for sharing this with our listeners. Starting a business in a new country is a story of courage and resilience. To our listeners dreaming of starting their own business or those who have already taken that leap, remember every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Let's Akshat's journey inspire you to navigate these waters with determination and vision. Before we wrap up, I have a question from my end. Can you elaborate what the startup visa is?
So see, startup visa is if an individual has I'll use an example. Let's say if you are in India and you have a company that you're working on and you want to expand that company or you want to move that company here in Canada, you can do that through the startup visa, pathway. So that's a high level kind of answer to that question. Of course, there's multiple things you have to do in terms of, going to an incubator, getting the letter from them, having certain type of funding as well. But that's somewhere we can help them as well.
And if you'd like to know more details, we can get connected with you later.
Of course. Yeah. On our app, on our website, we have a really cool AI technology coming in as well pretty soon. So it will make it much easier for people to get, answers to their questions.
Okay. So is there anything that you would like to share, Akshat?
I think, the major thing I would like to share is CanPR is here to help newcomer or prospective newcomers that want to come into the country. Our goal and our vision is to be that application, that platform that can provide any service that a person needs, a newcomer needs, in order to, start their journey in Canada. Or if they're thinking about coming to Canada, we want to make sure that their life is simpler, efficient, and affordable, because we understand there's a lot of broken pieces in the immigration system as of right now. CanPR is there to help.
Thank you, Akshat, for sharing your invaluable experiences and insights with us today. It was a pleasure hosting you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me as well.
Thank you. As we bring our discussion with Akshat Soni to a close, we are reminded of the profound impact that immigration and the integration of new Canadians have on enriching our economy and diversifying our workforce. Akshat's journey from witnessing the challenges of immigration firsthand to creating solutions that bridge gaps between newcomers and the employers is a testament to the power of purpose-driven entrepreneurship. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Akshat for sharing his valuable insights and experiences with us. Our gratitude also goes to our partners: exclusive banking partner RBC, exclusive shipping partner UPS, exclusive accounting software partner Xero, and exclusive email partner Constant Contact. We encourage our listeners to stay engaged and informed by subscribing to Canadian SME Small Business Magazine. Visit CanadianSME.ca for more inspiring content and insights. Thank you for joining us today on the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast.